Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. Got Cantu on the other side. Angel, how was your weekend? Instead of talking about the Astros in here in just a second.
Oh, it was. I mean, my weekend was good. Spent some time with my family, played baseball. I caught the whole game. I haven't caught in a long time, so it's like I did leg day, right? Like the day after the gym. My legs are burning, but it's been pretty good.
Get to watch some of the
How about
Masters,
yours?
I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. I had and some of the regular commenters had Bryson DeChambeau and never trusting their inside again. So, I should have caught Roy McIlroy back to back.
I didn't think it'd be Rory, but putting Bryson at number one was pretty a little tight,
Pretty
right?
bold.
Feel bad for Justin Rose. Can't get over that hump
Yeah.
over there, man. Is
That's
that
like what, 4 times already? He's
yeah.
been, I think, 3 times runner up and then a few times like, tied for third.
Yeah, Scotty wasn't in the factor at least for this one. Last year he was, but this one wasn't a factor. But Rory getting that would be cool to go to the Masters. But of course, you have to be on a.
What would you get if you had the Masters? Like, what would
Are
be
we
your
talking about merch or are we talking
food?
about
Well, we can do both.
food? Okay, merch
Yeah,
wise, I'd give
food.
me some hats, give me some
Yeah.
polos, maybe a pullover. Um, and for some reason, that gnome is calling my name. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was.
But
Go
there's
ahead.
a line for that gnome. It's almost like seeing a bunch of fans at the Astros games that like line up for the
The
bobblehead giveaways.
bobblehead.
It's
Yeah.
almost the same thing with this gnome. I think it was like a 3 hour like wait, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow.
I want to say it was
Yeah.
that, but I would get that. And real quick, food wise, chicken salad sandwich. I saw there was an ice cream peach sandwich,
Yeah.
like an ice cream peach
Yeah.
sandwich
Yeah.
or whatever it was called. I'd give me a cookie. Probably give me a drink. Of course, you always have to have a good drink when you're out there on the watching the golf, and maybe a pimento sandwich. I'd never had a pimento sandwich, so I'd like to try it.
Yeah, I would. I'll try to get one of everything I could. Kind of like eat my 3 meals there at the bar stop with the little chicken biscuit. Maybe I'll get the pimento cheese. But I'm like you. I think I've never tried it. I think I'll just get it just to try it. But I'll get
Mhm.
that pulled pork sandwich as the main. The main course. I would definitely get that's peach ice cream sandwich. And
Yeah,
then I think they have a green beer too. I think I'll try that for sure.
green beer.
I think I saw that. I could
Put
be
some food
wrong.
coloring in it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. But merch wise, definitely a gnome. Yeah, it's a little, I guess I was gonna say underrated, but it is a 3 hour night. I'm sure
I
it's a
think
hot
it's like
commodity.
I think it's like 30 or $60 for the gnome, and people are reselling it on eBay for like almost 400, 500, $600. It's like if
Yeah,
you go to eBay and like put Masters gnome, that's how what the rate is going for that little garden gnome.
yeah. I saw they had some nice quarter zips. So I'm gonna do one of those, and then like you said, hats, polos. I think that's pretty much the thing. But yeah, I don't know. But there was some. It was a crazy Masters. Yeah, like I don't know if you saw one of the shots landed into like merchandise first, and then another one knocked some guy's beer out over too. So it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
for Shane Lowry's draw on the par three, that was pretty
Oh,
sick.
hole in one. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the hole in
ace.
one. Um, but yeah, I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I wish I could have, but I just had too much stuff going on. But other
Oh,
than
shout
that,
out to the Aggies too, sweeping the series versus the Longhorns.
they should have played Sunday. Man, they had
Yeah,
that game from 1 o'clock, and then they finally just canceled it like at 9 o'clock. It sucked.
9:30. Yeah,
And they had concessions. The beers were like $6. Popcorn was like around $7 or $5. Same thing goes for like for the hot dogs, I want to say too. So concessions, and the next thing you know, they were giving out free entry to the game.
oh wow.
Okay. So, but yeah, I'm glad the pod is back. Missed you guys. Mars, we missed you. I think you were at the Masters, if I'm not mistaken, hitting the balls and almost gave Rory a little run for his money. Kevin, we always appreciate your asses on here. But yeah, let's get this show started. And of course, we're gonna title this tough road trip for the Astros, man. I mean, 10-game road trip. Houston was looking really good heading on the road. 6-4 record, if I'm not mistaken. Not 6-4, 5 and I don't have the math on me. 5-3 or 5-4. 10-game road trip. Looked pretty promising. You got the Athletics. Athletics were always going to be a good team. We said do not sleep on them. They have a lot of good young talent with some veterans on their team as well. The Colorado Rockies, a very interesting one. We did talk about it on the pod too, that you really can't take that team lightly. They took a series from Toronto against the American League champions, Blue Jays. So, of course, you didn't want to take them lightly. And then, of course, you had to end it off with a 4-game series, which ended on a Monday, not to mention. Very weird for that to happen. And it's your AL West rival who won the division last year in the Seattle Mariners. So for Houston, you're looking at a way to at least break even 5-5 with a 500 record on this road trip, or of course you want to come out this road trip winning 6-4, 7-3, 8-2, some way somehow not to be under 500. And Houston just didn't get it done. 1-9 on the road, riding at 8-game losing streak. Hasn't had that happen in quite a long time, since 2013. For Houston, and Anthony makes a good point, only 3 games back. This division isn't really the brightest division in the American League. It is really not. Seattle Mariners are doing really good. The Rangers are actually playing decent baseball. Athletics are still going to be the Athletics. Angels are still going to be the Angels. And for Houston, I mean, we're going to go over some numbers later where we title it pitching is atrocious on one of the topics, because we're going to break down some of the offensive numbers as well. This team wasn't really known for its offense last season. They really struggled with plate appearance and pitches in each at bat. And this season, it just looks a whole different new club when they are at the plate. They're attacking, they're being patient, even on the base pass, being a little bit more aggressive. And for the pitching, it's kind of like we were just talking about this off air, Angel. Their pitching has been their strength for so many seasons. And this season, of course, dealing with injuries, and we'll get with that here in just a few moments in this series against Seattle. We had Carlos Correa had talked to the media about him. It hasn't been the best. And we talked about in the beginning of the season, Mike Burrows looked really promising in spring training. You're bringing a guy like Tatsuya Imai, who has yet to face big league hitters and coming from overseas, and was regarded one of the best pitching prospects, or really not even prospects, just pitchers in Japan. Houston was able to knob him. You get Hunter Brown, who was third on the AL Cy Young. So you felt pretty good. A healthy offseason for Christian Javier. Same goes for Lance McCullers Jr. You added a bunch of depth for your pitching. And right now, it is, and I can see it on the objectives, it's atrocious at the moment how this team is performing. And it's unfortunate because the Astros had a bunch of players on the IL last year. If I'm not forgetting, I believe it was 17 players that hit the IL. And right now, Houston already has about 5 or 6 on the 10 to 15 day. We're not even counting the 60-day IL with Wisniewski and Blanco. So very hard road trip for the Astros. And if you're Houston, you're coming back and literally playing the next day on Tuesday against the Colorado Rockies once again. And you really got to figure it out in this home stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was not a pretty series. They're on a 9-game losing streak, I believe, and it's been a game, and it's been just, besides the offense, the bullpen, the starting pitching haven't been much. The defense as well, honestly, hasn't been pretty either. There was a miscue during the game, and then led to a big inning from that. So it's just been all around not pretty for the Astros. But who would have thought at this? Even though it's early, the Astros right now have the worst record in baseball percentage-wise. If I would have told you that in the beginning of the season, Lorenzo, that the Astros at one point in the season would be the worst record in baseball, would you believe me?
No, I wouldn't, because this team on paper looks pretty damn dangerous, and we've talked about it before.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, it's just the offense. I mean, Yordan Alvarez, AL Player of the Week. He's leading a lot of categories offensively, and Christian Walker's playing well. Cam Smith, I don't know if you saw those, game two with some great at bats, and like these guys are producing offensively, but when the pitching is going to be allowing 9, 8 runs every game, that's not a winning recipe, right? So right now it's not pretty, again, just injuries, but I think injuries since past 2 years has been, I guess, what we've been saying, but again, the Astros are saying that's not an excuse anymore. So we'll just see how they can turn around at home. But if you can't win on the road, you probably won't make it to the playoffs as well. So it's going to be a pretty interesting remainder of the season for the Astros.
Yeah, and then the second to last team in Major League Baseball. That's the Astros are last, and their record wise, the Rockies are not far behind either. They're literally the second, if I'm not mistaken, or the third worst team in MLB, and you really think like Houston and Colorado would be in the same category for that? That doesn't sound right. But the standings as of right now, I mean, it's really everything's like by half a game and one game. The Athletics 8-7, as well as the Rangers 8-7 for first. Angels are second with an 8-8 record. Mariners are 8-9, and Houston 6-11. For an Astros fan, you're not used to hearing 6-11, even though this team is a slow starting team for every season, and we do not know why, but they start off slow majority of the time every season coming around. So we got our objectives. Of course, if you see that little poll right there, feel free to vote on the poll. Which Astros player would you like to have back right now? Hunter Brown, Jeremy Peña, Josh Hader, Tatsuya, Imai. Shoot, if you want to put Hayden Wisniewski, you want to put Ronel Blanco. If you want to put Jake Myers, I mean, because this team right now is just flat out hurt at the moment. And if you would have told me too, Angel, that the Astros would be losing this amount of players to start the season with only 17 games in, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But we got our objectives right here on the side. Recap that Seattle series. Injuries continue to pile on. Pitching is atrocious. Colorado preview. Miscellaneous. Of course, there had been 2 former Astros and one of them being a manager for the Astros that had recently passed away. Condolences to the family and their loved ones. But Angel, before we get started, you want to let everybody know where they could find us on the ticker below and where
we're on all social media platforms. That's at Full Steam Ahead. On the Instagram, it's a little different at FSA Full Steam Ahead. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, at Spotify or Apple. And again, we're at FSA Full Steam Ahead podcast. So we are there. Do you want me to start game one, or you got it?
I got it, because I just want to go ahead and give you some numbers real quick to start this show. And Houston was out hitting Seattle before game 4 of this series. Houston was out hitting them 30-24. Both would finish with 37 hits total in this series. The Astros had 17 hits in game 2, and yet they did not win that game. Very interesting right there. Walks. Angel, we've said it numerous times on this show. Walks hurt. You give a free bag, that's going to equal a run. And sure enough, the Astros gave up total of 27 walks. Not just starters, it's combining both the starters and relievers. So what really puts a damper in this series for Houston is this series actually matters. When it comes to a tiebreaker in the division, let's say Houston and Seattle, it's like basically, what year was it, Angel? 23 or 20? It was 23, I think, or 24.
I think it's 24 when they were tied.
No, it was 23 because it was the Rangers, it was the Astros, and it was the Mariners. They were tied for in game 162, and Rangers lost to the Mariners. Astros would get the first seed. Mariners weren't really a factor. They were just playing whatchamacallit, just trying to ruin the Rangers' chances of getting the division, and they would go on to being in the wild card and traveling to Tampa. So back to what I was saying, I mean, these games matter for the Astros and specifically really the division itself because the Mariners, it's always been talked about the Mariners, the Astros, and the Rangers. The Astros, the only team I see personally and being unbiased is just Seattle. Seattle's just a great team, and it's really surprising how struggling they've been playing as well. But I mean, the offense is there. Their pitching is really great. That team who just won the division last season too, they're going to be up there, and possibly you can be up there finally for that top spot in the division. And losing four straights to the Mariners, that really hurts Houston in really big ways.
Yeah, I mean, this was honestly a winnable series if the offense scored enough to win. And it was just like we were saying, the pitching could have held it down, especially in that game 2 game where the offense looked great. They got their game plan. Like, they got Luis Castillo out of there early in the game, and Cam Smith had a 13 pitch at bat. Luper Frieder had a 10 pitch at bat as well. And they still lost because the pitching could have held it down, and that's one thing that they really needs to get revamped. I don't know if it's like the new pitching coach that we're seeing off there. We don't know if it's a mechanical issue. We don't know if it's a confidence issue, but I think especially the way Joe Espada and Daniel Brown are in their last year of their contracts, and it's not a great start for them. And I know they're feeling they might be feeling a little pressure going on there, but at the end of the day, the way Joe Espada manages his bullpen, the guys he chooses to be the starting rotation are going to be, if they miss the playoffs, is going to be coming to bite him in the butt. And honestly, I would say this: if they don't make the playoffs this year, I don't think Espada's managing next year. So it's going to
I'd even
be,
add on to that. I don't think Jim brings Dana Brown back.
yeah, I agree too. Although he's made some good moves. I guess you can say bring Cam Smith, and Lazinski worked out while he was here, right? So it makes some good moves, but at the end of the day, playoffs, championships is what keeps your job, right? And missing it twice when this team still in the motion to compete. You still got Jose Altuve, you got Alvarez in his prime, you got guys like Carlos Correa who were brought over here to help Isaac Paredes, and if you can't win with that offense because your pitching can bring you down, it's not going to be fair. It's not going to be good for them.
Yeah, and you make a good point, right? Well, let's recap this series first, and then I'm gonna go with the schedule because I mean it's the pitching, and that actually fit really good with that category when we talk about the pitching. But game one, Astros would drop 9-6 to the Mariners, and Tatsuya Imai was on the bump. And if you're an Astros fan, you're thinking, man, he just had a great outing in Sacramento. That pitch, that slider that goes a different way, almost breaks like a screwball / sinker. Christian Vasquez catching him, even him like saying he's never seen a pitch like that before, and when he's on it, he's on the groove. Great outing for Imai, and you're looking at this same thing where it really needs to count for Houston after getting swept and riding a 4-game losing streak, or really 5-game losing streak to being swept by the Rockies and heading into Seattle. That's the pitcher you really want because the Mariners haven't yet to see him pitch or any footage of him to try to get an advantage. And man, it just did not turn out that way for Imai. First inning, this is what it's going to do. A walk, another walk, gave up a single, a wild pitch, scored a run, walk, hit by pitch, scored a run, RBI ground out, and then a walk. 4 walks, 1 hit batter, and 1 out. He only got 1 out of that first inning, only throwing 37 pitches. And man, that's tough to see because the depth, they need a starter to go more than 1 inning. They need a starter that needs to go more than 2, need to go more than 3, 4. If you could give them 5 or 6, that's where you're really good and you're feeling great giving the ball to your bullpen, which really the bullpen too has been struggling as well. But later on, they did talk about being the arm fatigue, which we'll talk about the injuries when it comes to it. but struggling in that part, giving the ball up. Then, of course, they were still scoring on him as well from JP France, Ryan Weiss, and just both of them combined um, a total of 5 innings, 6 earned runs, 6 walks. Walks equals runs. Sure enough, 6 on the board. JP went 2 and 2/3. Ryan Weiss went 2 and 1/3. But the offense too. I mean, really wasn't a lot of offense in this game. It looked really promising in the beginning, I will say, with Christian Vasquez with that 2 out base clearing double. That was very clutch, and the Astros were tied at that point. But then later they gave up the lead. Next thing you know, Astros are trying to play catch up ball in the 8th inning with the Yordan Alvarez home run, 3-run homer to right field, and yeah, that was very tough to watch from Imai because you're really thinking to yourself like, okay, Seattle's yet to see this guy pitch. He's coming from a great outing in Sacramento. This has to look very promising for Tatsuya.
Yeah, until it wasn't, right?
Yeah, very, very rough. Very rough for him. And I think for himself too, included, I didn't think he was going to come like that. I want to say too, in the post game talking to the media, that he couldn't get a feel for the mound. Like there's just some mounds I'm guessing out there that are rough, some that have soft dirt when they plant their foot. Um, it's just one of them things that you just got to have to find a way to adjust. And he might tried to adjust during his time at T-Mobile Park, but he's gonna have to pitch there a little bit more often this season, and
Yeah,
he's gonna have to get used to it.
yeah, absolutely. I think there's no like. I feel like in the beginning of the season, yeah, give him you'll cut him the slack. New league, new country, new things. But as the season gets over, like I don't think that excuse is gonna work anymore. Right, so he has to get a feel quick, adjust because he actually gonna need him, especially with all these injuries.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see how long he's gonna be out because they just ruled it out to be 15-day IL for his arm, but didn't look promising in game two either. And for Houston, of course, the offense needed to come alive. Yordan Alvarez, for some reason, when he's at T-Mobile Park, he just tears it up. And like I said in the beginning, didn't look promising, but was promising for this offense. The offense jumped on Luis Castillo damn real quick, getting out of the game in the 4th inning. He only finished 3 1/3 against Houston. And really has success against Houston, but recently in his last couple starts, I mean, the Astros have rated him very well. Cam Smith, RBI single, base clearing double for Taylor Trammell, which almost left the yard. It was just underneath that yellow line in left center. Yordan Alvarez, like we had mentioned before, solo shot. And then Cam Smith continues to just pile it on with the Mariners with 2 RBI single. Astros heading to, I want to say it was the 5th inning, 7-2 lead, Angel, and you're feeling very good heading into the 5th. Lance McCullers, yes, he kind of struggled a little bit, but he looking really good. But then not so much because Seattle would end up putting a 5 spot in the 5th inning, and Nance would struggle trying to get out of the 5th inning, and he couldn't complete the 5th inning. Going 4 1/3, 5 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 79 pitches were thrown, 46 of them were strikes. Joe Espada hands the ball off to Stephen O'Kurt. O'Kurt comes up and then gives up a 2-run shot to Julio to tie the game, and that's what's kind of been really for this road trip for Houston. It's the starter giving it to the bullpen trying to anchor it down and not allow any more runs. But two, when your starter is giving you the ball that quick in the game, you're going to be really fatigued heading into each and every other day.
Yeah, and honestly, like we were saying earlier, surprising that the Astros didn't win, even despite Nance McCullers going 4 1/3 because the offense really picked them up. And then shout out to Taylor Trammell, first at bat of the season, and like you said, almost cleared the bases there. I think he kind of got the eye of Joe Espada there because he played another game this series as well. So this is a winnable game for them. But again, Bryan Abreu continues to struggle there. He's only had 1 save this year. He's blown 2 already. Has responsible for 2 losses, and I think at this point, Do you look for somebody else? Think you think give him more than one chances already, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think he's just keeping. This is just me speaking for Joe. I'm not trying to speak for Joe, but I'm just speaking what I'm just seeing. He just gives his players like the benefit of the doubt that he's just gonna be confident he's gonna have his back, and that's what every manager should have. But at the same time, too, if you see Bryan Abreu struggling in that ninth inning for so many times, like you said, he blew 2 games already. He hasn't really looked the same, really, too. Not to mention this season, walking 3 batters especially was very shocking
Yeah.
in the ninth inning when the Astros had a chance. J.P. Crawford hitting that walk-off single, Jeremy Peña leaving that game too with some knee tightness. But back to Abreu, I've said this before. I believe that he's just in a comfortable position in a setup role or the seventh. That's not given any backlash to him. He's been a very great reliever in this game, one of the best American League relievers. But at the same time, too, if you can't handle the ninth inning, and he's kind of shown that in multiple games, then Houston has to look at other options. I've said a few options. I said Brian King. I think he deserves a chance. I think AJ Blueball, but the way that these starters are dropping like flies, you might need to put him into the rotation. Uh,
Yeah.
you got to give somebody another chance. You can't continue on with him. And I know you want to get his confidence build up. You want to see that dog mentality in him, that moxie when he gets on that mound. But at the same time, too, you need a reset. And maybe for Brian, putting him in the eighth, kind of get him back in his groove. And then if Joe wants to put him in the ninth in one game, that's fine. But at the moment of right now, I think the Astros should explore just another reliever into that closing role. And I think, my personal opinion, I think maybe giving Brian King a shot because he's really looked, honestly, he's looked maybe the only reliever in the bullpen that's looked really good so far this season.
Yeah, I agree with King. I would say the same thing. And I know you're talking about the confidence part, but I wouldn't seem like a bad idea giving him like the 7-8 spot because you do want to get his confidence back because right now he doesn't look confident up there on the mound in the ninth inning. And how does he get the confidence about getting out of innings, right? So take that, get him in a low level situation. Like for example, uh, yesterday yesterday was his only outing where he did not allow a run. Other than that, he's had 6 outings where before yesterday that he had at least one run, and that's not for a closer. That's not good because we're coming to the tight games, 1 run, the 2 run lead, right? So you had to close it down. So I think, like you said, bringing them in not even the setup, bro. Just could be 6 inning, even early as a fifth. Just get him some work in a low level situation and see what he does. I mean, once he starts getting out, you start bringing that confidence, and then maybe give him another shot. Because I think Espada's not going to give up on him as a closer, right? I think even if he temporarily does, I think he'll give him an opportunity to prove himself again, especially before Josh Hader comes back. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, Joe Espada is playing for his job, as well. So I
Mhm.
think you need to do what you need to do to win. And at this point, I would say I wouldn't be opposed to, like you said, having King come in the ninth inning, closing out the game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Brian King's ERA, if I look at it real
I think
quick,
it's 174, I believe. I just saw
in
it right
six
now.
games, going 6 2/3, he has 9 strikeouts. He does actually have one save. He's given up at least one run, gave up 4 hits. Opponent batting average is 174. So you usually have Josh Hader as
135
your
ERA too.
yeah, you usually have Josh Hader 138.5 ERA. Thank you. As your closer. I mean, he's a lefty. And I've talked about this before. You have I thought Brian King was the only lefty in that bullpen, but you do have Stephen O'Kerr too. If you decide that you need a lefty in a situation, and not to mention too, O'Kerr's hasn't been pitching very well like he was like last season. 491 ERA in 7 games, 7 1/3, giving up already how many runs? 4 runs. Um, I'd honestly just roll the dice. I'd just give it a King, see what you got in any lefty situation. any lefty situation in the game with left-handed hitters up to the plate, you should give the ball to Okurt and then possibly save King for the ninth. You put Abreu in the eighth, you put King in the ninth. I think that'd be a better point for Houston with their bullpen just until Josh Hader comes back. Because when Josh Hader comes back, you can put Bryan Abreu back in his same role. Brian King, if more than anything, I believe he could be the seventh guy in the bullpen. So for Houston right now, it's just like treading. They're just treading water at this point.
Yeah, they're trying to stay afloat as best as they can, right? So, but that's gonna, the way they're pitching is asking a lot for the offense, and they do their best to help them out. But again, they're facing major league arms, so scoring 6 every day, scoring 5 runs every day is not going to be, ideal. Not going to be coming every day.
Yeah, you're right. But go ahead with game 3 because just talking about these 2 games, I'm like, my God. I mean, the offense was there, and these next 2 games they weren't.
Yeah. So game 3, the Astros lost 6-1. Offense couldn't get anything going. The only offense production they got was a Yordan Yanier Diaz solo shot. That was literally pretty much summed up all the offense there. Another Astros injury, unfortunately. I think what 3 state besides McCullers, that's 3 of the 2 outings resulting in an injury. Colton Bolton came out early due to mid back tightness. Again, just like Imai, 2 days 2 days before that, only pitched 1 inning. So in that outing, the Astros pitching had 9 walks, and like we say, walks lead to runs, and wasn't pretty again there. Bryan Abreu came in, like we said, didn't allow a run for the first time this season. So but that's what I'm talking about. Like I said earlier, like that's low leverage situation. Wasn't a safe situation. Get him more, get his confidence up, and he can. Like he just showed it right there that he can get out of innings without allowing a run. It's just I think honestly, the light's too bright. I think for Bryan Abreu, he's just
For this season.
This
Do
season,
you
yes, I
think?
would
Let me
think.
ask you this real quick. Do you think maybe it's something mechanically happening in his delivery? Do you think it's like pressing off the mound, his extension? Do you think maybe it's more of the arm angle when he's releasing the ball when he's pitching? Or I mean, what? Because this is just like out of the blue. Like Abreu wasn't like this for the last other 3 seasons. Then you have to go back to his rookie season when he was struggling as a reliever, and I think that was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But for him to just like all of a sudden this season struggle in games, one of the top relievers in the league, it's a very head scratcher at this moment for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at his profile right now on Baseball Savant, and his arm angle this year is at a 42 degree. I mean, but he's still using his 2 best pitches the most. Velocity's still up there. I mean, it's not as fast as he was. His velocity is actually down 2 percentage points. He was averaging 97.3 on his fastball. It's 95 now. The slider's a little bit hairy. It could be that, maybe the loss of velocity there, but I haven't really seen too much of a mechanical issue. To me, I think it's more of a mental issue of not being able. Yeah, again, the velocity could play a factor, especially if you're Bryan Abreu. That's what you rely on. He's only thrown 2 pitches this year. He's only thrown a 14 fastball and a slider, which if you look at last year's numbers, he has a sinker in his arsenal. He has a changeup, but rarely throws it. As for a closer, you just throw your 2 best pitches out there. It doesn't mean to adjust that much, but I don't know. It could be the loss of velocity because right now they're hitting 333 on his fastball. It was 196 last year. The whiff rate on his fastball has gone very lower. It went from 36.4% last year to 30%. He's still getting swings and misses on the slider as well, but not as efficient as he was. He's throwing too much in the zone, not getting really batters to hit, but to swing and miss. But I think that could be maybe the loss of velocity.
Yeah, it's with there's all these injuries piling on. I just feel like that man. There's something, and Well, we'll talk about it when we talk about the injuries and the pitching.
Yeah,
So
but I can continue with the game. Sorry, I was still looking at his profile.
go ahead.
Game 4, the Astros did lose 6-2. Mike Burrows did throw 6 innings, allowing 6 hits, allowing 11 runs as well. But I think this was more of he needed to save the bullpen in there, so Espada kind of having to roll with the punches there and not pull Mike Burrows too early. But I think coming into this game, I know he hasn't been as efficient as he was, but the Astros saw something in him in spring training to make to compete in this starting lineup, and he hasn't been efficient by any means. I'm looking at his numbers right now. Uh, this is as long as he's gone, but he's allowed at least 5 hits in each of the outings. 9 to the Angels, 5 to Boston. That was his best outing yet for the Astros. He pitched 5 innings, only allowing 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. Against Colorado, allowing 8 hits and 11 hits here. Although he did have a 17 swings and misses this outing, he's leaving a lot of pitches out over the plate, which hitters are taking advantage of. And just in a situation where the Astros the Astros pitching wasn't up to par. Wasn't good.
Yeah, for him too. I mean, you can kind of count Colorado because that's not a pitcher friendly ballpark. Um, so not a strong start for Burrows, but this homestand coming up, I believe you can see a different. I personally think that it could be just a different rotation. It's going to be a different rotation regardless, but for Burrows specifically, I think he looks to be hunkering it down soon. I would say.
I know we're going to talk about the injuries real quick, but we did mention the rotation. With Jeremy Peña going to the 10-day IL and Imai going to the 15-day IL, the Astros did promote JP France and Colton Gordon, who's going to be starting tomorrow. I'm still wondering if you think the Astros are going to. When do you think the Astros bring up Arrighetti? I think he would have been maybe one of the first ones, but
Mhm.
I can see why you bring up JP France because again the bullpen has been so taxed. It could be like one of your long mans. I mean, I understand the moves but do you think you see him in this homestand?
You have to. The Astros, they are desperate for starting pitchers. For Arrighetti, his last outing was good. He went 6 innings. I don't have the stat in front of me, but he did go 6 innings. That
I can
gave
bring it
maybe
up
up
right now.
a run or two. He looked good. Another name that's out there that the Astros have a player that's really helped them last season was Jace Alexander. He's down Triple A, and he had a really good outing too. Which, yes, minor league baseball is different from Major League Baseball, but at the moment where you need arms, you've seen the stuff that they have, and they show you need those guys ASAP. But for Houston, I was trying to figure out because they did bring up, JP France, Cohen Gordon's coming up. Shea Whitcomb as well is going to be brought up. You forgot to mention too, Jaden Murray, the Astros promoted, and then they optioned. Same thing went with France, but then they brought France back. Christian Rowe as well as another guy that they've been using, bringing up and then optioning too. But for Arrighetti, I mean, you have to see him in this homestand. If it's not going to be against the Rockies, because the Astros have yet to announce Wednesday and Thursday starting a
Yeah.
pitcher. I know for sure Tuesday is going to be Cohen Gordon, but for Wednesday and Thursday, even Friday, you have to put Arrighetti or Saturday. One of them guys have to be in that rotation. And
No, but
no, and I'm not personally sure if Arrighetti's like, you know what, I'm ready to go. Like if he has the call or the Astros have the call or even Sugarland, because I'm pretty sure Sugarland and Houston, they communicate. Joe and Mickey communicate on, how their players doing and, you think he's ready kind of thing. I don't know if that's another factor. So the way he's looked in them last two starts or even three starts with Sugarland, I mean, he looks ready to go, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the pitcher when they're ready.
yeah, he's projected to pitch tomorrow
And
against
this is
Solid
Arrighetti.
Bees. Arrighetti, yes.
Tuesday.
I don't think he makes that start. Yes, Tuesday, the 14th.
If anything, you can
I
maybe
don't think
put
he
him
makes a start.
Wednesday. What, with Houston or with?
He's projected to pitch tomorrow against the Solid Bees in AAA. But
Okay.
I don't think he makes a start because I think you'll probably see him with the Astros.
Yeah,
because if he makes that start, he's not gonna be able to pitch in there 5 days, other than really help the Astros.
and Houston desperately needs a starting pitcher, and especially you get a fresh arm in Arrighetti. You're getting a fresh arm already with Cohen Gordon. I'm not saying Gordon's going to give you, and if he does, hell yeah, tip of the cap, 6 scoreless innings or 7 scoreless innings. But you need fresh arms, and those Gordon being one, a fresh arm, and if you bring Arrighetti, that's 2 fresh arms that could possibly give you 5 to 6 innings. And your bullpen desperately needs that. Desperately needs it.
Yeah, right now Arrighetti has an 0-0 record with a 1.26 ERA. He's pitched in 3 games, has 20 strikeouts. The only thing is, remember, with Arrighetti, it's always been the command. He has allowed 4 walks and a hits and 2 hits batsmen this season as well. So just something to keep an eye out. But he's again, it's AAA. Those guys are still professionals. Those guys can still hit, and he's pitched pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a highlight from Game 4 that I'm pretty sure that everybody has seen to start the game for the Astros. We'll show it real quick on here.
Rolled over, first base. The skims to Walker, and infield base hit. Cal Raleigh does a little bit of everything. Oh, that's a beautiful thing for Cal.
It's just been that kind of season, Angel, so far for Houston.
First of all, shout out to Cal Raleigh for running that out.
Yeah, and we talked about it off here. That's a tough position for both players because Christian Walker is just right there at the bag. But when you have a pitcher crash that's like 3 feet in front of you, then you're expecting to like just grab it and then give him a little toss. So PFPs, make sure you're taking advantage and actually doing the drill out there for all them young players out there. So
that's lack of communication, though. I think Walker needs to say, "I got it," or me, or Bro has to say here, they got to talk to each other, and I'm sure Bro wasn't happy, allowing 3 runs early, and at the end of the day, he didn't get the outs. And what happened after that?
You tell me.
Shot.
From who?
By Naylor.
That was from Naylor? I thought Naylor hit that 3-run homer.
He hit 2. He hit a 3-run homer and he hit a 2-run homer.
Have a day at the plate, sir.
Yeah.
He basically beat the Astros himself, 5-2.
Yeah, absolutely.
The final score was 6-2. But of course, post-game media had talked to the players about this 8-game losing streak, 1-9 on the road trip, and this is from Brian McTaggart on his Twitter. But this calls Correa talking about not making excuses because of the injuries, just for the fact that they're not playing. I'll just leave it to Carlos to say what he had to say.
How surprising is this, and what can you guys do to get this turned around quickly?
Obviously not what was expected. Tough road trip, terrible road trip, I would say. Just gotta get back home and get back into a group of things and start winning some games, play better baseball.
Aside from getting guys healthy, what can you guys do to start playing better and get it turned around?
Yeah, I think we can't use that as an excuse anymore. I think we gotta just go out there and figure out with the guys that we have and how to win ball games. And we got a lot of great people here, a lot of great players. We're just not playing our best baseball right now, and that's why we're not winning games. So with the personnel that we have, I think we can get it done. So we gotta make better adjustments. I mean, everything goes through injuries. You know what I mean? I don't want to attach our failures to just injuries. Our failures are because we're playing shitty baseball. Simple as that. There's no way around it. There's no excuse. It's just we're a good club playing bad baseball, and that's what's happening right now. So we just gotta go home, regroup, make adjustments, and play better.
Being able to go home now after such a long trip, how much do you think that'll help and reset the mind?
It's been really good to see our families, see our kids, just get the extra boost of energy and be reminded of why we do this and who we do it for, and go out there motivated on the first game at home and just go out there and win games.
You heard him. You heard him say it.
Yeah.
Our failures, real quick,
Sure.
our failures are because we're playing shitty baseball. That's a quote from Carlos Correa from that interview. And I mean, you can just see the frustration. He even said it wasn't a good road trip. He said, you know what? It was a terrible road trip. And straight up, like, he just didn't sugarcoat nothing. Shitty baseball, and that's what Houston's been playing 1 through 9. You've seen the offense has looked good in some games, and the offense hasn't looked in good games. The pitching just hasn't been really good at all this road trip. Defense, with, like, right there, for instance, the miscommunication with Mike and Christian, the missed pop up. You really want to go back from this road trip in Sacramento from Yainer Diaz. Wild pitches, hit by pitch, hitting the batters, walks. I mean, it just has not been. It just wasn't a good road trip for Houston. And Carlos said it best with the last question come from Julia, basically saying, like, it's a reset. We're coming back home where we're going to see our family, our kids. Maybe that's what Houston needs right now, just to see their families, see some smiles, hang out with their loved ones, be with their kids, just to get the energy and the vibes going back up again, I'd say.
Yeah, no lies were told, I guess, by Correa, right? And that's the thing. Correa's gonna give you the blunt, honest truth, even if it's not pretty, right? But at the end of the day, you gotta win in the road if you're gonna have success in the league. And right now, this homestand gonna be a good way to turn things around. They do got some favorable matchups coming up. They do. I'm looking at the schedule right now. They got Colorado. They got St. Louis, who hasn't been playing well. So that's 2 ball clubs that the Astros could win the series, because they've only won 1 series this year and so far, and that's against Boston. They were swept, but back-to-back sweeps, literally, from Colorado and Seattle. So they got, again, a great opportunity. They're at home fans, their families, playing against ball clubs who haven't been as successful as of late. This is a good recipe to change things around, to get motivated, to turn the page, and make this a new season.
Yeah, I'm gonna read you a tweet from Brian McTaggart, and it's a really well known if you really go look at the stats, but Brian has it on his Twitter. But it says Astros starting pitcher lengths in each game in April. We're going at 5 innings, 3 2/3, 5 2/3, 4 innings, 4 1/3, 5 1/3, an inning, a third of an inning, 4 1/3, 1 inning, and of course Burrows pitched today's game going 6 innings. Astros have 2 quality starts in 16 games this season, and those came in back-to-back games from the beginning of the season in March 31st to April 1st. And those games were the ones you were talking about, Angel, the Astros sweeping the Boston Red Sox. And now I'm looking at the schedule real quick, and I'm going to tell you the pitching part of this road trip. The Astros have allowed 11 runs, 12 runs, 9 runs, 5 runs, 9 runs, 9 runs, 8 runs, 6 runs, 6 runs. Yeah, you're on mute, but I can
sorry.
just see it in your tone.
Yeah, I was just saying they're not going to win too many baseball games like that.
You're definitely not going to win too many baseball games. And really look at the offense that the Astros produces some of these games. Scored 10 runs. They've scored 7 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs. So for Houston,
your camera's off, though.
I know I'm talking though. I can still see you, see your pretty face on here. For Houston, I mean, they have to find a way to get back in the game, and it just can't be the offense. Pitching is going to have to help in one of these games, and this is You did an article on this, and I'm gonna give you props. And we've talked about it before from last season. This is where you miss Framber Valdez desperately. This is when you need a horse that can give you 5, 6, 7, even complete game, because he did that last year with the Astros. You're missing your other ace in Hunter Brown, who can give you 5 to 6 to 7 inning games. You really miss, and I've mentioned this in the offseason, you really miss Bill Murphy at this moment. He's now the head pitching coach in Pittsburgh. But when he was here with Houston, the analytics, the numbers, all of that stuff. I'm not bashing the new pitching coach that Houston has at this moment, but those three guys, one being a coach, and then two of them being the pitchers at the moment, one being hurt on the IL, and the other one departed for to play with the Detroit Tigers. And even you can say for the offseason, and you've made this point numerous times that the Astros needed to go get another starting pitcher, whether it was Framber re-signing him, whether it was going to go and grab a Ranger Suarez or go sign a Dylan Cease. This is where it's hurting the Astros at this moment.
Yeah, I think after they signed Imai, they thought they had enough, and I get it. You got Ronaldo, like you got pitchers coming out, but you see, you got they're hoping that Ronaldo Blanco comes back, Wazensky comes back, right? But you can't hope and pray because, as you can see for the Astros, it hasn't worked out lately. Like, I think if Lance McCullers continues his pitching great, I think that's one of your bright spots that he's able to come back. But Javier hasn't seemed like he's ready to come back, especially now he's injured. And you've seen your best pitcher, Hunter Brown. There's like a death. I think at one point,
mentioned too, just to add on, Jose Urquidy didn't end well for him. Luis Garcia coming back from injury didn't end well for him either.
Yeah, so it's like it's a hit or miss. I feel like with the Tommy John surgery, because then you got like Verlander, who's had it twice and still still was pitching pretty good after that, right? But I feel like it's a hit or miss with these guys, and they need more depth. I think and I'm surprised out there, Imai, they didn't sign anybody else, because I feel like every time we kind of talk to Donna Brown, he's always looking for pitching, always wanting pitching. He says they can never have enough too much pitching yet, but yet sometimes words are just words and actions need to be coming out, and I don't think they have enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to continue on real quick.
No, I was gonna say, I think I'm probably sure Steb won't probably be a fan of this, but I do think Miguel Yoda makes his season debut this year, especially with the. I don't know if it's gonna be a starting role, bullpen role, but I think you see him this year just because of the need for pitching they have.
At the moment, too, I think he's battling an injury. I think he had sprained.
Yeah, I think he.
Mentioning.
Yeah, I think he's on the yeah.
So,
but go ahead.
Just to add, then we can get to the pitching part of the show. I mean, the injuries piled on for Houston, and it just even though the losing streaks and being 1-9 on the road, I mean, it does hurt when you're missing some key players in your roster. And first of them being Hunter Brown, diagnosed with a grade 2 right shoulder strain. He's going to not be throwing for a few weeks, and then will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Joe Espada had said. Jake Myers injured himself on a check swing and that oblique. Them are some tricky diagnoses and timetables to return. And he lands on the 10-day IL with a grade 2 right oblique. Christian Javier only pitched 1 inning. Lands on the 15-day IL with the same injury with Hunter Brown with a grade 2 right shoulder strain. Jeremy Peña, like we had mentioned on the series recap with the Mariners, lands on the 10-day IL due to a grade 1 hamstring strain. And then Tatsuya Imai landing on the 15-day IL due to right arm fatigue. Cody Belton, I'm pretty sure he could possibly be a candidate for IL. He has some back tightness. For the Rockies game, he did get hit by a comebacker, so that what kind of triggered his back being tight, as he had said. So, right, I mean, we talked about this a little bit off air too, Angel. Javier and Brown having the same injury, grade 2 right shoulder strain. And then Tatsuya Imai, you're losing 3 starters on this road trip. Right arm fatigue. That is, and for Imai's injury personally, I'm trying to figure out what is right arm fatigue. Is it tiredness in the forearm? Is it in the wrist? Is it in the shoulder? Is it in the trap, the tries, elbow? I mean,
Isn't it
not
like
a
dead
lot of
arm?
context on that one.
Isn't right arm fatigue like kind of like dead arm a little bit, where it's just like pain, kind of like feel weakness or something like that?
Yeah, but where do you it's just the whole arm? You think you just feel pain, or is it just like a specific muscle
Usually
group
it's like right here, no, like in this like bicep area.
like basically your shoulder almost?
Yeah, I think so.
So losing 3 starters, which the Astros went to go get a bunch of depth this offseason, it is really hurting them at this moment. And what I wanted to say, Carlos Correa in the Astros uniform, I see why Houston brought him back. Of course, last season they needed a third baseman. Correa would switch positions from shortstop to third base. Maybe having a chance to get back into the postseason, trying to rally the guys up again with all these injuries happening. I get all that. The leadership, we could continue talking on about Carlos and his leadership and what he brings to the table. But of course,
What did I miss? I'm sorry.
no, I was just saying with Carlos Correa. Now, I'm going to make a point right here in just a second. You bring him, the leader of the clubhouse, the vocal man that's going to be on this team, trying to help out last season for Houston to make the postseason. I got you. I'm still talking. Gosh, my camera wants to be on the IL too, it looks like. But bringing him, moving him from short to third because of Paredes' injury, they didn't know if he was going to be coming back into the season this season, or last season, I meant. But I think this is where it kind of hurts Houston in a way. And I'm trying to figure out, going back to that trade deadline, how much Houston was going to pay, how much Minnesota was going to, go with his contract. And what it says right here, according to MLB.com, the Astros are responsible for approximately $70 million to $71 million of Correa's remaining contract following the trade last season. The Twins agreed to pay $33 million of the roughly $103 to $104 million remaining on his deal, which runs through 2028 with potential vesting options. Some of that money, and this is why I'm saying I think Carlos is a great addition. He fits well with Houston and the fan base and, even the clubhouse. But some of that money could have gone to a number 2 starter, at least a number 2 starter in this Astros rotation this offseason.
Yeah,
and like I said, I'm not bashing everything. I think it's a good addition still with Carlos on this team.
Yeah.
It's just a difficult situation where the Astros are at this moment.
Yeah, because I think you still need that leadership presence. So, like I said, I think, I agree with you. I think Carlos was a great addition. You just got to make things work. But they do need pitching. And like right now, the free agents don't look that great either. So it's not like you can't just bring somebody in right now and hopefully makes a difference, right? So you just got to rely on what you got and hope that it's not a lengthy injury for Hunter Brown and Christian Javier.
Yeah, you hope, because if they're not throwing for a few weeks, I'm guessing the same things are going to go for what they told Hunter Brown from not throwing for a few weeks. I think it has to go the same thing for Christian Javier if the injury is almost the same. It's literally the same.
They did say that they do have a similar timetable due to their injuries being similar.
Yeah, and they're going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So if it's not this week, if it's not next week, then it's going to be on the 27th of April. April 26th is Sunday. April 27th is a Monday. So this is very tough for Houston. I think for Joe, I would like to see, with Peña being on the IL, I would like to see Brice Matthews get a couple at bats going back to shortstop. He's still an infielder. Nothing against Nick Allen, but you do need some type of offense on this team. And Brice, even though second season into the league, he's still considered a rookie. for this season. But I think you got to give Brice, some at bats, especially at a time like this. If you're not going to put Carlos Correa at short and you're going to put him at third, that's a perfect place to put Matthews, who is a natural born shortstop when he was at Nebraska. Put him at shortstop, get some time there. If Altuve needs a day off, you put Isak right there. Isak could be in the DH. Isak's not going to play shortstop. I think that's the only position I can see, at least, he won't play. He'd play third. He could play second. He played first. But shortstop, and this is nothing against Nick Allen either, you got a young prospect in Matthews. Maybe they're holding on to him for maybe a trade potential package later, or maybe even maybe Dana's cooking a trade at this moment with him surrounded on that package. But for Houston not to toy with him in this lineup, especially with Peña not going to be in the lineup and hitting the IL, I think you got to give the kid some at-bats.
I agree. I think right now at this point, Nick Allen, just because of the experience, might be the better hitter, but I think Brice Matthews can really hold his own right. I think he shown his potential, and I agree with you. I think you put Brice Matthews on the team for a reason. If he was not going to get consistent at bats, they would have left him in AAA to get that work in. So I agree with you, but I think you will see Carlos Correa playing third shortstop a little bit more, maybe, especially on the IL. I'm not sure because he's been playing third. Because I thought he was going to be playing shortstop today, and then Isaac plays at third base. But
remember this, Angel, he did mention too in the offseason when we were at FanFest and at FanFest, he was very comfortable at third base, and then he has full confidence in shortstop going to Nick Allen. And I even had asked Joe about maybe getting some before they left to spring training about getting some reps at shortstop. And he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I tell or ask Carlos about playing short, he'll play, but he's our third baseman. So
yeah, well, that's what I was going to get to right now. I don't know if that was a conversation Carlos Correa had with Espada about wanting to stick to third. Could be. I'm not sure, but I do think Brice Matthews could, hold his own at shortstop.
Yeah, and I think just bringing another youth and energetic, athletic player in Matthews, and like I said, I'm not bashing on Allen or nothing like that. Allen's a great defensive player, but at this moment, you do still need some type of offense, especially the way that the pitching is getting handled at this moment. You gotta find a way to score runs, even though they've been trying to score a bunch of runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can talk real quick about this offensive rankings since we were talking about the offensive subject. We're already an hour in on our podcast. The offense leading the league in runs with 93, hits with 153, doubles because of Christian Walker. I mean, he has a majority of the doubles. 42, tied for first with a 369 OPS. Batting average, second with a 275. Slugging, 454. That's second in the league. Walks, which that was the biggest thing for Houston this season, being patient at the plate, and it's really worked out so far for them, given that passing the baton to the next guy and then allowing the next guy to score the guys coming from second or third or even first. But walks, 76. That's second in the league. RBIs, they're tied for second with 87 RBIs, and home runs. That's a shocker to me because Houston was not a home run hitting team last season. 19, tied for third in the league. So them are the offensive numbers.
You're probably looking at those offensive numbers and man, this club, how do they lose? What's going on those runs?
How are they last in the league right now? 6-11 record, 1-9 on the road trip, 8-game losing streak. You're scratching your head. You're trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this team.
If I were I feel like this is one of those stats where you read the offense and you just put a blind team next to it, guess the record. You're probably thinking undefeated, 1, 2, 3 losses. This is a juggernaut right there.
Yeah, and Houston being on there, especially like last season, if you really wanted to take a gander at that, I would not think you would say the Houston Astros. You'd probably say the Dodgers because, of course, LA has a lot of great superstar players on their team. And then you can even possibly say the Yankees. The Yankees have actually been playing good, but then as of late, they've been a little bit mediocre themselves too.
They just broke their 5-game losing streak, winning 11-10 against the Angels in a walk-off.
Well, that does help Houston in the standings, and it does. Maybe Houston can score 11 runs next game.
Could be.
But go ahead and just give us these interesting.
Oh, you want me to do the pitching? All right.
Yeah, give us the pitching real quick. Just to
pitching. Just giving you a blind team right here. I want you to guess the team. This pitching, 154 strikeouts. That's third in the major leagues. Okay. I guess right, like when I start on the right track, right?
Starting on the right track. Third, and that's kind of like damn. Then
so second stat. Yeah, nasty. Second stat, 6.49 ERA, which is dead last. 1.7 WHIP, which is after WHIP, walks, hits, innings pitched. 99 earned runs, puts them in last, next to the Washington Nationals, who are by far second to last. They have 82 to the Astros 99.
99, wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, and those are earned runs, right? In total, they have 101 runs, which again puts them in last. Washington's also second to last in that category with 88 runs in total. 96 walks, which is last in the major leagues. 2.65 BAA, which is second to last. They've allowed 138 hits, which is tied for third most, and they've allowed 23 home runs, which is second most. And there goes your hand.
BAA is your batting average against, not sexy on there. The walks, of course, that's what's hitting my head right now, because man, Houston's been just pitching in general for the Astros. Just pitching has always been a strength, and we said in the beginning of the show, that's always been a strength on this team. Having great pitchers and having guys like Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke, Garrett Cole, Charlie Morton. I mean, you really want to go throwback, you could say Lance McCullers Jr. throwback with Christian Javier in 21 and 22, Luis Garcia, Jose Urquidy. I mean, we can continue going on and on with this list of good pitchers through this golden era of Astros baseball. But as of right now, I mean, this is not golden era Astros baseball material. The offense, yeah, that's a golden era of Astros baseball. This pitching, that's not even close to what that era was for Houston. And it's difficult to kind of pinpoint on why is Houston having little success with their pitchers right now. We can name numerous, there could be numerous things. It could be the pitching coaches with Josh Miller, and I think it's Ethan Katz. I'm very interested in seeing who's the other Astros pitching coach. I want to say it's Ethan Katz, but I'm not going to give you a wrong name. Yeah, assistant pitching coach Ethan Katz was hired for Houston this offseason, replacing Bill Murphy's spot. Could it be mechanics? Could it be release points? Could it be because the starters are only going so many innings and then giving it to the bullpen? The bullpen's already fatigued too, not to mention. Can it be strength and conditioning coaches when it comes to recovering after your starts? Or there's different methods to recovering. You're icing your shoulder. You're doing light lifts, lift weights. There's numerous things we can try to figure out and see what it is. But the pitching staff as a whole, it's tough to swallow through 17 games into the season as of right now. And for Joe, I mean, it's difficult for him trying to figure out who to put in his situation when your pitcher's only giving you an inning or 3 1/3 or 2 2/3, and not to mention a third of an inning. That puts a big wrench on his plans to plan out this game, because I don't think he sees Cody Bolton coming out of the game in the third inning. He doesn't see Christian Javier coming out in the second inning. He doesn't even see Tatsuya Imai trying to get out of the first inning. It's just a difficult situation what the Astros are going through at this moment. And if Houston could tread water, like I was saying in the middle part of the show, if they can just find a way to win some games with guys like Cone Gordon, you're going to get Spencer Rigetti back pretty soon. If Mike Burrows could find his rhythm again, maybe AJ Blueball will start some games here. Maybe they bring up Peter Lambert because that's another guy that Dana Brown had mentioned on the pregame radio show. Jason Alexander could be another guy that they could bring up. If those guys can find a way to just 3 runs, 4 runs, maybe even 5 runs, and the offense that we had just presented you with the statistics, this team could win some games. They can win some series. And Angel, like you mentioned, they got a decent, good schedule coming up for Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had an answer for you. I wish I can tell you it's mechanics. I was even diving in if they've been like different. If the pitchers are throwing different pitch types compared to last year, and they're not. Like they're throwing what they had success last year, but yet it's not working. Like it's for the most part, it's that they're not kind of low, like they're not hitting their spots. Like they're leaving a lot of pitches out over the plate. They're not throwing very decisive balls to get hitters to chase, and you eventually have to come into the strike zone to get strikes, right? You have to. There's no, you can't rely on guys chasing all the time, but they're leaving too many hitter-friendly pitches out over the plate and not really locating those corners, and that's what's hurting a lot, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about there's some favorable matchups coming up for Houston. The homestand they have coming up with the Rockies and the Cardinals. You travel to Cleveland, which the Astros just played a 10-game road trip, and now you're traveling back again. That pretty much that sucks, but that's how the schedule is. They go to Cleveland, play the Guardians, which the Guardians have been playing some good baseball. The Yankees coming into town, and they've been not playing too well, but of course, when they play Houston at Daikin Park, it's been a different story. They play really good at this ballpark. Then you'll have the Orioles to end the last series in April. They'll be traveling to Baltimore. And if we want to get just too crazy, in the first 2 weeks of May, they travel to Boston to play the Red Sox. They come back home for a 3-game series against the Dodgers, and they travel back and play the Cincinnati Reds on the weekend. And then they're home for some division matchups with the Mariners and Rangers. But they have to take advantage of this homestand. They have to, because you have the Guards, you have the Yanks, and then you have the Orioles. Orioles have been a little iffy here and there, but of course they still got some good pitchers. The Yankees are the Yankees. And then the Guardians with Tanner Bybee, I think is his name. Bybee or Bibby, one of those. But you can't sleep on their offense.
It's Bybee.
It's Bybee, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But you just can't sleep on their offense, and you really can't sleep on their pitching. But for Houston, just get those guys healthy. Just get them back on track. The offense, if they continue to do what they did in Seattle, transform it to Houston, then there shouldn't be no problem. Houston, the funny thing is too, Angel, Houston's always been a good road team. Always been a good road team in each season, but this season, just to start out, it just hasn't looked too pretty for them.
Yeah, and speaking of pitching, I mean, they're gonna have to be better, but yet we don't know who's throwing. All we know for Tuesday's Colorado matchup, Gordon Gordon's gonna be on the bump, but after that, we don't know. So I'm predicting a Spencer Rigetti call-up. I don't think he pitches tomorrow in AAA. I think he will be pitching in the Colorado series.
Okay. And Thursday, that's another. It's probably gonna be another pitcher that the Astros are gonna have to look into. Either, like I was mentioning, a Peter Lambert. Jason Alexander just pitched not too long ago, so I
JP France pitched today.
JP France could be another. Ryan Weiss, which is
he pitched 2 innings. Yeah.
It's interesting too that they never gave Ryan a shot as a starter. Who's another guy that I was just thinking about right now?
They haven't said much on Nate Pearson's injury, right?
Nothing. I think he hasn't even hit a rehab yet, but he's just been progressing. That's really been much it for the last time I've seen his name pop up. But
he's a starter too.
Yeah, yeah. So for Colorado, I mean, you could possibly see the same three pitchers where you saw them in Denver. Kyle Freeland could be on the bump. I think Michael Lorenzo is supposed to be pitching one of these matchups. And then I don't know who is the other guy on the other bump.
I'm sure. I was looking at it right now, and they all say TBD. Freeland was scratched from his start, so I believe it was just an illness for him. So he might be pitching this round as well.
Pitching this series now. So
yeah,
for Houston, this series, man, pitching just needs to be good. Just hand the ball 5 innings of, if you can be 3 or less, you're setting up yourself for success. Offense got to continue doing what it's been doing these past couple games. Even the road trip they hit really well, scoring a lot of runs. So Colorado, I mean, they only scored. Let me see. They only scored 7, 1, and 1. So it wasn't pretty. But that first game, I mean, they scored 7 runs. It looked really good. But them other 2 games, only scoring 1 run in each game. That wasn't pretty at all.
Yeah. And I guess just to finish off the news, stuff going around the Astros franchise, from Davey Lopez and Phil Garner passed away. I don't know. I feel like Phil Garner was a manager I remember from when we were children, especially managing that 2005 World Series, that playoff run, so RIP to Phil Garner. And Lopez played with the Astros from 1986 to 1987, passed away at the age of 80 on April 8th. Phil Garner passed away at the age of 76 on April 13th. So our condolences to their families, loved ones, and all the close friends.
Yeah. 4 days apart, too, not to mention. Teammates in 1986. Yeah, and that's baseball. Baseball for you. Hey, in the show, I mean, how about that fight, too? Jorge Soler and Reynaldo
Lopez.
Boys,
hey, imagine getting a ball to the neck, too. It's tough. But you see that coach tackle Soler? That was...
Yes. Walter Weiss.
That was a nice form tackle. Yeah.
I think the Falcons had reached out and sending a tweet saying hey, we need to get a contract with you, coach. Which I mean they do. But yeah, ended of the podcast for tonight. Yeah, an hour 18 minutes was not on my bingo card, just like the Astros having a 1-9 road trip and an 8-game losing streak. That wasn't on anybody's bingo card, I would say.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, follow us.
I was thinking a 45-minute one.
Yeah, I was trying to do the same thing. But yeah, follow us on the social platforms right there, like Angel was saying in the beginning, TikTok, Twitter, FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, YouTube pages right there as well. With our live streams, as well as some content videos with some of the players and player interviews and coaches, as well as the audio platform. If you just want to rage and just hear our voices and talk about the road trip that these guys just presented, Spotify and Apple Podcasts are where you can find it, or wherever you find your podcast. We are there. Like, rate, subscribe, and give us some feedback and some ratings. But Angel, final thoughts before we shut it down for the night.
No, just thank you for listening and thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for sticking with us. I know it's 11 on a school day. If you're a student listening to this, you got testing tomorrow, so get it next week.
Maybe they listen to it in the morning before they go testing. We're giving some statistics. We're giving them some math equations, some math numbers, and all that good stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we'll recap that Thursday night of the Rockies series preview. Them St. Louis Cardinals come in to H-Town. That should be a good one. Of course, a lot of fan base, a big fan base and following with the Cards. But Till then, y'all stay safe. Have a good week, and we'll talk to y'all soon.